Hey guys, Eric at SoCal Cigars. Hope you're having an awesome day. I wanted to do a video today that I've actually been wanting to do for a long time. This is to answer that question we all get as cigar people out there, from either novices or someone who's never smoked a cigar in their life. What cigar should I go buy and try for the first time? The problem with that question is, the truthful answer is, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what your money situation is. I don't know what your flavor likes and dislikes are. I don't know if you have any experience or not with tobacco products currently. So, how would you handle nicotine? These are just some basics that off the top, I don't know. So I can go two ways. One, which is kind of what I do, I'll start asking them questions, because I do want to give them a pretty good direction to start with. But barring asking them a rabbit hole of questions, I think there's a way we can do this and give them at least a reasonable answer to get them going. And so how do I want to approach this today? What I did is I went to my humidor and I pulled out 5 cigars that I would normally throw in my humidor when I'm going to someone's house or going on a trip or going on a ride, where I'm thinking to myself, if somebody asked me for a cigar, these are good cigars to give them if they're not that experienced. So obviously off the top of my head, based on my own experience, I'm pulling these cigars for a reason. And I've bought these cigars, so I obviously feel they're good cigars already. So that's one thing. The second thing I want to do is just sort of give you the basic data: size, shape, wrapper type, and cost, approximate cost. And that'll kind of go along with my opinion of the cigar. And then for the third and final thing I want to do, to give this a more well-rounded look, or a look at the cigars for you to make a good decision based on what other information's out there, is I went to a top online retailer, which I'll give credit where credit's due. I don't want to, obviously I'm not going to take information from anywhere and not give them their credit. I went to cigarsinternational.com and I looked at their blurb about these cigars and I edited them down because some of it's just sales stuff. I really wanted more just the meat of what they were saying about the cigar, not all the, hey, this is the best cigar on the planet, which they're pretty good. They give a pretty reasonable review. Anyway, so I think with those 3 things, we can probably nail down at least the 5 cigars I'm pulling from my humidor. Because if I was just going to pull, because I see a lot of videos that are like top 5 cigars for beginners. Well, there's a couple things about that. One, there's thousands of cigars out there. So when someone says it's the top 5, I agree with them. It maybe is their top 5, because you've got to pull from somewhere. But the problem is, in the top 5, there's probably a top 500. You know what I mean? So you could probably watch 20 top 5s, and all of the cigars mentioned are probably good ones. So, I would never encourage you just to watch my channel. Go watch other people. There's a lot of great cigar channels out there and cigar reviewers and good content out there. So, capitalize on all that. I'm by no means, I'm the smallest fish in the pond that I know of. So there's a lot of other great places to get resources. So when I'm doing the top 5 for me, it's literally the top 5 I pulled out of my humidor, because the top 5 I might recommend just in general might be a little different than what I had in my humidor, but I gotta argue, I've got over 400 cigars. So I'm pulling from a reasonably good product sample, if you want to put it that way. So anyway, just kind of know that this is just the top 5 from my humidor today. And all right, let's get started. So how I'm going to do this is I'll show you the cigar. I'm going to kind of I'll look down a little bit, sorry. I want to make sure I'm getting all that data right for you. And then I'll overlay a picture of the cigar, and I'm going to overlay the blurb I pulled from Cigars International. Okay. So the first one on my list, and I'll actually, from the beginning, I'll tell you too, that of the 5 cigars I chose, the first 2 are infused, the last 3 are not. Okay. Because I wanted to give a fair shot to both, let's say, styles of cigars, because I'm a big infused guy, and I have found that when I recommend to someone who's new an infused cigar, they love the flavor, they love the sweetness. I think that really helps. But by no means is that the only way to go. So I want to give everything a fair shot here. So anyway, the first thing out the gate is going to be a Drew Estates Acid Blondie. This with the Cuba Cuba is their top sellers. This Blondie is, I'm telling you, if I see anyone with an acid cigar in their humidor or herfador, I'm telling you, it's always going to be a Blondie or a Cuba Cuba, okay? So this is a fantastic place to start. So let me look real quick. So this is the Blondie Bellicoso. It is a 5-inch by 54 gauge. And so for those who don't know, the length is 5 inches. And then the gauge is the size of the cigar, okay? The thickness of the cigar. And what I would recommend is go on Google, search cigar ring gauge chart, and you can see all the different sizes. But a 54, 50, that's pretty average for like a Robusto. This is, I would classify as a fairly average size cigar, maybe on the shorter side, but pretty average. So this is a good place to start for somebody. This has a Connecticut wrapper. And the price point on these, if you went to a cigar store, is probably around $7.50, $8. So it's not bad. My personal take on this cigar is it's a fantastic cigar. What they do with these cigars is they put a little bit of sweetness on the end here where the cap is, so that when you're putting it in your mouth, the first hit you're actually getting is just a little bit of sweetness, which is good. And then with the cigar's infused botanicals and oils that are in this tobacco, these are fantastic cigars. They're smooth, they're sweet, they taste good. I would argue this is a great recommendation for someone who's never tried cigars before. This is a good cigar. So anyway, let me go now. I want to show you that picture, and I'm going to read you the blurb, and you can read it on screen, of what at least the edited version from Cigars International had to say. Acid cigars are number one when we're talking about the best infused cigars on the market. That's not even a question, and I have to agree. And there's one line within the Acid brand that reigns supreme over all of them, the Blondie. This chart-topping brand is handcrafted and spends time in Drew Estates aromatic rooms where over 150 essential oils and botanicals slowly infuse or influences the flavor of the final blend. Okay, so part of that is code for we're not going to tell you what's in these cigars. Okay, I'll just tell you that right out at the gate with Drew Estate. Drew Estate is very secretive about their blend and their oils and botanicals and the infusing process that they use. So, so you're not going to get a whole lot from that other than knowing that it's infused with oils and botanicals and that it's a Connecticut wrapper. But this is a fantastic cigar. I think for the price point, you really can't go wrong with recommending this cigar. Okay. Number 2 on the list is going to be this Java Latte. Okay. So in the Java line, if you look at the bottom, you'll see it'll be like mocha or red, or this is the Latte. And the mint's a great one too, but I think the mint's a little weird for people that have never tried a cigar. But if you're into these Javas and you've never tried a mint, go try a mint. It's a freaking killer.
I love him so much.
But anyway, the rundown on this one is the Java by Drew Estates Latte Robusto. It is a 5.5-inch cigar, and it is a 50 gauge, so just a little bit smaller than the Blondie. And on average in a cigar shop, this should run you $5, $6, maybe $7 on the high end. And again, this does have the Connecticut. I know with the Java series, there's other wrappers that they use, but this Latte is the Connecticut. I think because it's the lattes on the, even like when it comes to like on the coffee side of the world, a latte is pretty light. You know what I mean? So I think that's keeping with that same theme, that this is the lighter cigar, so it's got the Connecticut wrapper on it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you the picture, and I'm going to read this blurb. Java by Drew Estate Latte Robusto. What's this latte all about, you ask? The Java Latte employs a silky smooth Connecticut Ecuador wrapper rather than the standard Connecticut broadleaf. The result is a mellow and creamy sensation with all that Java awesomeness you've come to love. So that's kind of what they say about it, and I think the whole point about why I wanted to have you see what they're saying is to be able to tell someone that this is mellow and creamy. I mean, out of what they wrote, that's what I'm pulling out of that. You know, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the characteristics it's talking about, or the note it's talking about. So for example, the notes I'm pulling from this is that it's creamy. That's really what I'm looking for. In other words, it's not spicy, it's creamy. It's, not nutty. It's, so someone who's new to cigars, I think that when they're creamy and like you get hints of vanilla, things like that, I think those are really easy for the novice to get those flavors for their first, shot out the gate. So I think, again, this is a great one. So those are the two infused. Now I'm going to go to a very old standard cigar as well. This is the Baccarat. So the data on this one is that this is the Bellicoso. This is a 6-inch by 54 gauge. So it's like the Blondie in thickness, but it's a little longer. So this is a little longer of a smoke. So that's something else to maybe convey to people, that the thickness and the length of the cigar determines how many minutes or hours you're going to dedicate to doing this. People have to understand, when you light up a cigar, especially people that aren't used to cigars, you're investing a certain amount of time. So this cigar is going to last longer than this cigar. Okay, they're both the same ring gauge, but look at the difference in height. That's difference in time. Okay, so that's something they might want to know too. Don't always go buy a 60-inch Gordo Churchill 7-inch cigar. You're looking at an hour and a half. And if they don't really like it that much, or they're not really into the lifestyle of really chilling out with a cigar, they're going to be bored in 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So don't get too fat and too long. Let's just say that. So then, again, this is the Connecticut wrapper, and these are really reasonably priced. You should expect maybe $4 or $5. In a brick and mortar, it may be as high as $6, but it shouldn't probably be over $6. I've smoked plenty of these. I always have these in my humidor. A lot of times to give them away, but I will just tell you flat out, as a cigar guy, I do buy cigars specifically to be able to give them away. Just what I do, because I really like to encourage this hobby, because I think it's done a lot for me. I know, out of all the things I can do, I'm not a big drinker. I don't do drugs. There's a lot of things I don't do that some people do to, let's say, relieve their own stress. I don't do yoga. I don't meditate. But I do really dig sitting down and having a cigar. It really does something to me mentally, and it really helps me chill. So I think it's, I always have made sure to bring extra cigars with me to maybe pass that thing on to other people that has really made a difference in my life, and maybe can make a difference in theirs. So yeah, this is a mellow cigar. It's an easy smoke. It's not a very complex cigar, so it doesn't have overwhelming different flavors happening. It's just a really straightforward, mellow cigar. So I think this is, again, for an entry-level, non-infused or flavored cigar, this is an easy way to go. So let me read what they had to say. Baccarat Bellicoso, one of the best-selling Connecticut wrapped offerings. Baccarat is an extraordinary experience for the money. I agree with that. This handmade has been given a well-deserved 4.5 out of 5-star rating. At least that's on Cigars International. With Havana-seeded Honduran long fillers with a Mexican binder, you've got a recipe for success. A slightly sweet coffee taste that comes through on each puff, staying cool to the end. Baccarat comes in both Connecticut and Maduro wrapper varieties, but whichever one you go for, you're going to come out on top. Okay? So what did we take away from that, when we're reading that? For me, what I got was slightly sweet, coffee comes through, and it stays cool to the end. So those are important things when you're going to give a newbie a cigar. Again, sweet, coffee comes through. It's a cool burning cigar. Obviously tell them not to overhit it so you don't make a hot box out of it. But, these are characteristics that are great for a new cigar smoker. So again, utilizing your own experience, or at least reading online what people are saying about this cigar, can be very helpful. So that's number 3. Number 4 is 5 Vegas series, and this is the Gold series. So let's see, the data on that one is 5 Vegas Gold Torpedo, which is actually my favorite shaped cigar, and a box press. This is a 6-inch cigar, okay, and a 54-inch. So this is just like the Baccarat, okay, and actually they're both torpedo shaped. Okay, but you can see these are both the same size, same thickness. Okay, so again, this is a little bit longer of a smoke in time because it's in length longer. They go hand in hand. And this is also Connecticut wrapper, and this, again, reasonably priced. This should be $4, $5, $6 in a cigar brick and mortar, probably around $6. You know, if you're getting them online, you're getting these sometimes down to $4 a piece in a pack. You know, a deal or a box or a, you know, like a mixed pack. Vegas or 5 Vegas is great for putting together really cool sampler packs where you get all sorts of different versions of these cigars, and the price is great. So that's what I would say about this one too. This is a very reasonably priced cigar. It's, you know, it's a great way to go for a new time cigar person. Let's see what they have to say online about the 5 Vegas. 5 Vegas Gold. Smooth cigars still rule, and without a doubt, the popular 5 Vegas Gold is the perfect example. This cigar has an Ecuador Connecticut wrapper leaf with a rich satiny texture. A slight nutty taste followed by some zesty peppery notes on the back of the palate. But instantly it mellows into a smoothness with ample creaminess, well balanced with a creamy foundation. So to me, that's the takeaways on this one, is that it's creamy, but it does have, it says, a slight zesty peppery note. So that's going to separate that one a little bit out from the first three, because we still have like the light Connecticut wrapper, but now we're getting into what they classify as a you know, slight peppery note. Okay. So now let's go on to the last cigar, which is the Ave Maria Morningstar. The facts on this one would be that it is a Habano wrapper. So this is the only one of the 5 that is going to be different in the wrapper than the Connecticut's. So this does have a Habano wrapper, and in the Perfecto size. So this is a 5-inch by 58 gauge. So it's 5 inches long, but it's a 58 gauge, so it's 60, or it's almost a 60 like a Gordo. So it's still going to be a longer smoke, because even though it's a little bit shorter in length, it's still fatter. So don't, you know, be misled that this is going to be a much quicker cigar, because the thickness is going to make it still last a little bit longer. And these are going to be on the highest end. These are around $9, but in a retail store you might pay as much as like $11 for it. My experience with this is it is a good cigar. It's a little more flavorful than the other ones that I've talked about, the other 4. I would say it's not in my top 10, but it's still a great cigar. It's from a very good manufacturer. It's AJ Fernandez. So these are really great cigars. They're always rated really well. So again, if you're gonna step out of the first 3 into that 4th one with the 5 Vegas Gold, that's the little more peppery. This will be a little more peppery than that, and it's going to have a little more flavor probably than all of them. So this will be the most flavorful cigar of the 5. So let's see what they have to say. Ave Maria Morningstar. The original Ave Maria cigar is quite simply a masterpiece. Produced at AJ Fernandez factory in Nicaragua, this ultra-premium blend is a shining example of a worthwhile boutique cigar. From the stunning packaging to the immaculate performance, each Ave Maria scores a perfect 10 out of 10 in any category you judge it on. With an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper and fillers featuring notes of earth, light spice, nuttiness, and a crisp tobacco core. Okay, so like I said, of the 5, you know, the first 3 are going to be very similar. The the 4th one, the 5 Vegas, is going to be a little spicier, and then this will probably be a little more spicy than that, and a little more flavorful than all of them put together, or not put together, but all of them in general. So anyway, that's kind of my rundown. Hopefully this gives you somewhere to go when you get to ask that question of what's a good cigar to start with. Like I said, you know, I could do 20 of these videos and every time pick 5 different cigars, because there's so many cigars out there that you could start with. But this is, again, really, I did this on purpose with pulling what was in my humidor currently, because this is something you could do too. You could go up to your humidor or your desktop, whatever configuration you have, and you could, you know, pull a couple cigars out. I'm sure that you would be having no issue handing to a new cigar person. So again, this is just my 5 from my current setup. But again, like I said, I encourage you to go look at other people's opinions, because there's a lot of great cigars out there and a lot of great cigars to start with. Anyway, that's kind of it. Hopefully this has been helpful, and if you could please like the video, and if you'd like to subscribe, feel free. That would be awesome too, but definitely a like, because that really helps me with YouTube and getting my videos out there. Anyway, that's it. Have a great day, and I will see you on the next video.